All right. Morning, folks. Morning, folks. Happy Thursday. Let me check to see if we're good on all the platforms. You know how we do. You see what we talking about today. You already see where we going with it. You know, I love my Michigan Wolverines and I love my Washington Commanders. You know, we got to talk about it. You know, we going to talk about it. All right, Facebook, what's up? What's up? About a guy who's honestly becoming coming favorite player to watch, man. I mean, if I had to pick a player right now, let's say I was like, middle school as one, and I had to pick a player to say, yo, who's your guy? This guy would easily be the guy. Okay. If I'm talking to my nephew, and we're going to dive into it, if I'm talking to my nephew, I'm like, yo, is there a player you need to be looking up to right now? My nephew, he is going to be 13. 13. No, he's 13 already, 14. He's going to be a freshman in high school soon. Hold up, before let me gonna dive into this. I'm already starting to talk too much. All right, make sure we're good on all the platforms. Make sure we're good. You already know it's great. It is a great day to have a great day, folks. All right. Check. 1 2 1 2. Checking 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. All right. I have unbelievable show lined up today, and I'm telling you why I'm so excited, because again, I'm not necessarily technologically sound. I don't necessarily know how to use technology that well. Everything I know about technology, I kind of pick up as I go, like I do with a lot of things. So I'm really excited today because I actually figured out how to screen share on this actual platform. So, the videos obviously going to be doing a whole lot more. One of the things that got me into doing regular live streams is some of the people that I follow, like an Anton Daniels or a Brandon Tatum. They're able to like react to videos and like have like a split screen where they react, you see their face and then they react and all that. And for the while, I didn't know how to do that, but I literally just learned how to do it yesterday on yesterday's live stream. So I was practicing before I got on and all that kind of stuff. So trust me, the content, everything I'm all about it's about to go down today. All right. So before we get started, let me introduce myself to anybody that may be new to my world. My name is Aswan Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time published author and educator. And what I do is I take the lessons from the gridiron, the lessons from the football field, the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on the grid, in sports in general, but more in particular football, and I align them with businesses. I align them with business owners as I translate them to business owners. So you have a staff, an organization, a group of employees that moves as efficiently and has as much hunger and eagerness to them as a championship level high school or the youth team. That's what we do over here in the Move Swiftly world. Every time you see these 3 pencils that say plus LY, just know that that's what it means in a nutshell. All right. So before we get started, let me get through let's knock out some announcements. First things first. West Palm Beach, stand up. West Palm Beach, stand up. If you're interested, free boxing lessons. We are starting. Well, we've already started those, but the next one will actually be, let me look at the calendar here. The next one will be February 1st that morning. If you are interested in doing those, be sure to hit that QR code and get in touch with me, and I'll send you all of the details. Next thing, business owners, like I had mentioned in the intro, if you are a business owner of 20 or more employees, be sure that you go to freeguide.makeyourmove.com. That is freeguide.makeyourmove.com. I've taken 10 easy to understand, easily digestible ways to things that you can do right now that'll lead to more efficiency in your business. All right. So here we go. All right. Listen to me very closely. So let me put it up here real quick because there's a whole lot I have to say about this. And I actually have an article that came out today. The articles and the live streams kind of come out simultaneously now, since I've been learning the technology game and figuring out how to it's crazy to me to think about the journey I've been on, because you're speaking to someone, you're listening to someone that really didn't even know how, like still to this day doesn't know how to use not only AI, but just use Instagram and use social media. Like I'm an old head. I'm like one of them old school cats. I'm an old head. The thing I knew in college was Facebook, and this was before smartphones were really a thing. So you had to actually get on your computer and log in and then check stuff. Like it wasn't something that we had access to every single moment of the day. Who's sending you this message? Who's posting that? What I remember, like your typical, like when I was a freshman in college, a typical day, you would go throughout your entire day. You would post something in the morning, go throughout your entire day, because we would leave our laptops in our dorm, or at least I'd leave my laptop in the dorm or whatever, and then you have to come back and then see what somebody posted, or then see how your post did, who reacted to your post or whatever. It was never something in which you just scrolling, have access to it all the time. So I'm now getting the hang of doing these live streams, and I'm telling you, I'm going to catching up to the legendary YouTubers and the legendary influencer podcasts. And the reason I'm going to be to these legendary folks is because I have been blessed. I have been blessed to grow up in an area in the DMV, Silver Spring, Maryland, in an area in which we have a franchise, a football franchise. Well, first of all, I was blessed to grow up in that area, and I was also blessed to have fallen in love with the sport of football, the most popular sport in the entire world. And this particular franchise that I have been through so much, so much. I have been through so much with this particular franchise, to the point in which I could bring my sister on right now. My older sister's 5 years older than me, and I could bring her on right now. I could bring her on. I could bring my mother, my father on. Anyone that knew child version of Aswan. I'm talking about formative years Aswan. Aswan that elementary school, middle school, high school years Aswan. And you will bring up a certain franchise named the Washington Redskins, and everything would change. The entire conversation would change. Listen, I love my Michigan Wolverines. You guys know, diehard Michigan Wolverines fan. The regular listeners, you guys know I'm a diehard Michigan Wolverines fan. But when you're talking about those Redskins, those Commanders, whatever you want, when you talk about that team growing up, it was going to be a debate. We were going to go at it all day. I mean, when I tell you this franchise that I love beyond like you more than you would ever know has put me through a lot of stuff. I mean, you guys can't see it, but you see, I'm starting to lose it a little bit up top. And I blame the years in which I have been forced to love this team more than you would ever know. I mean, and because it's part of it, growing up very shy, very reserved young man, very obedient. I had 2-parent household, Caribbean parents that were teaching me in the home to be very obedient and not be disrespectful at all. That's the way my mother and father raised me. But when you're talking about that type of kid and him, finding his acceptance on the football field. Again, I have an entire book about it. It's all written right here. I have an entire book about it. Finding my acceptance on the football field, and then the team in which I became a super fan of, that I watched all the transactions, went to the practices, went to the training camp. In fact, I remember the first time we ever drove out to Ashburn, Virginia is where the Redskins headquarters are, the Commanders headquarters are. Drove out to Ashburn, Virginia. This was around the time, I remember the same year, it was around that year where Dan Snyder bought the team. And then he goes and he gets prime time. He gets Bruce Smith. He goes and he signs Bruce Smith. He signs prime time. And there was another person that he signed, like pretty much just was paying a bunch of like older veterans. And then from that point to where you go and you sign an old washed up Donovan McNabb, and then you bring in an Albert Hainsworth, we pay him $100 million and he doesn't even practice. The guy can't even finish his conditioning tests. I mean, then you had the whole Jim Zorn situation. Then you had the situation. I mean, as again, loyal Washington Redskin folks, this is a great time. I mean, and again, yes, I do. I'm hoping, obviously, that they win these next two games and win a Super Bowl and ultimately put the icing on the cake and really seal the deal. But speaking from the perspective of someone that has truly bled the burgundy and gold, if we're talking NFL football, I am just happy that we're relevant. I didn't expect this. I never know what the expect. I mean, listen, I expected a lot when we had RG3, but by the time RG3 happened, it was like the straw that broke the camel's back, if you can get the analogy, right? By the time RG3 happened, because at this point I had developed in my football knowledge. At this point, I had, I was in college at this point, and I was playing for Stony Brook, and I was towards the end of my playing career. And when they made that trade to go and get RG3, and this was the craziest part about that trade, is this was back with Mike Shanahan and Bruce Allen. So Mike Shanahan was the head coach, and Bruce Allen was the general manager, or the vice president, or whatever they want to call him. So during that year, they go and they make a trade to where they are going to get the second pick in the NFL draft. And then obviously they go along and then they get RG3. The Indianapolis Colts take Andrew Luck, right? So as a fan, obviously I watch the game and I see how this thing is actually going to turn out. And so frustrating, actually, I have to bring up and talk about. But here's what they did. Here's what got said, or here's what Mike Shanahan actually admitted. He said, we were either going to take RG3 or Andrew Luck. It was either one of the two. We were that high on both of them. When you decide to give up everything for this pick, the number one or number two pick, why would you settle for the number two pick? You go and you pick RG3, and then later on, you go get Kirk Cousins later on in those rounds. So the whole thing, everything we've lived on, I know it might be, as Redskins fans, I know it might be triggering to some of you guys to have to relive those years, but I'm telling you all this because it's going to frame what we discussed today. It's going to frame the entire discussion that we're going to have today. As you see on the screen, versatility equals longevity. All right. The message we have for today is not limited to the football world. All right. As difficult as it has been, and I'm telling you, it has. I've been frustrated. I've gotten into fights. I mean, I've taken some. I had a Redskins helmet that I would wear to go to sleep. As growing up, I would wear to go to sleep. I smashed it. It got to a point where I took the helmet and I smashed it on the ground. I broke it, like, to the point, like, every my father looks at me like, I can't believe it. Like, they would frustrate me. And ironically, one of the games that me and my father went to, we played the Eagles back when they had Donovan McNabb. I show up, everything, in the cold, all my Redskins gear, ready to roll, ready to see my damn team win. And they go and lose. And McNabb he's dancing, he's doing, he was back. This was back in McNabb's day. They had Andy Reid and all that. And McNabb just straight bust our ass. I will never forget that feeling. There's twice I had to go and watch them in Fairfield lose to a divisional opponent. I watched them get their ass kicked by Philly. And then when I got to college, there was, I think it was a Sunday night game. Me and my father, we watched them get their ass kicked by the Giants, to the point we're in FedEx Field feeling like we're in New York and shit. I just left New York from school because I went to Stony Brook. So I just left New York, and then I come back home to watch a Giants versus Redskins game, ready to go back to New York and talk all the shit, just talk shit to all these Giants fans. And that was the night where I think it was remember that swinging gate thing that Jim Zorn did, where he did some swinging gate bullshit where I guess he faked like he was going to do a field goal, some nonsense that he did. And that was the night that I was getting texts from all my boys, from Stony Brook, what's up with your skins, bro? What's up with your skins? I'm telling you, I've been there. I've been through a lot with that franchise. But anyway, again, I didn't plan on going on that rant, but I just needed to show you guys how big of a fan I am of this particular franchise. So I had meant to cut myself off at a point, but I say all that to say even if it does happen and we don't get it done this weekend, I gotta tell you, I am so incredibly happy that hold on, let me get through this text real quick. GM uh, I'm so incredibly happy that the Commanders are relevant. All right, and again, I made sure I framed all that and then explained to you how deep this this diehard fan of me, how deep it actually runs. This was the team. This was the team that gave me my identity, and I would go back and forth with anybody always. I mean, if there's one thing that people who knew me in school, one thing they knew is Aswan or Wani or whatever it is they were going to call me, whatever they were calling me. They're like, oh, he's going to go at it. He's always arguing about those damn Redskins. Even when I got to college, there was a point where several friends was like, "Did you just shut the hell up about the Redskins?" Even, and the crazy part is they weren't even relevant. This is back when they weren't even relevant and they weren't winning any playoff games. So, anyway, what they're doing, and even though on the field, they haven't produced the wins. There's still a lot of lessons in the business world that I've been able to learn from watching them because of, again, for the longest time, they've been doing it the wrong way. But this new ownership group, between Josh Harris and, Magic Johnson's part of it, this new ownership group has been very public in terms of the importance of versatility, finding talent, and allowing the talent to flourish. All right. Allowing the talent to flourish. And I'm bringing all of this up because it's important as we translate that into the working world. All right, it's important that we have that mindset. Too often do we raise students, or do we kind of indoctrinate students to believe that there's a job description, that we raise employees. All right, there's a job description. You have to go after this particular job. You have that job. You're just happy and you're settled, and you live life happily ever after. Too often does that get insinuated within our curriculum. But what we are seeing, what has to happen, and this is actually advice for everyone that is trying to be recruited. Now that the college season is officially over, you're going to hear a ton of draft hype, and you're going to hear a ton of analysis, a ton of so-called experts telling you which one can do this and which one can do that, what this one's 40 time is, how much this one benches, where this one played, where all sorts of just opinions about where a person's going to be projected. And I'm telling you that it's important, if you're going as a business owner. I know those are the people that primarily tune into my work. As a business owner, your main thing, if you want to build a company and build a solid culture with good people, your main ingredient needs to be right there, where you see on your screen, which is versatility. All right. You have got to build up a line of questioning, a line of elements, and a structure to your organization in which you are bringing in people who are incredibly versatile. And I could not wait to dive into this subject, because the reference point is has become one of my favorite football players to watch. I said football player, man, not just one position. Mikey Sainristil is a football player. A football player, totality, not just one position, a football player. A lot of you guys know, all right, well, not a lot of you guys, but I'll tell you guys now. If you know me, you know how much love I have for my niece and my nephew. My nephew is getting ready to enter into his high school years. He is an incredible athlete, to the point where he's going boxing, basketball, football, soccer. I believe he's doing soccer too. Every sport. He's just an all-around athlete. Okay. And if there's one, again, he's at that age where you don't want to listen to, his old head uncle talk about his glory years and all that kind of stuff. I get it. But when he comes around and when he starts, open it up and realizing that his uncle is a wealth of knowledge and has lived through this and knows, the sports world, knows the fitness world, knows the education world, and can guide him when he gets to that point. And he asks me, he goes, who's a player that I need to be really studying and looking at and saying, hey, I'm going to model my game like him? I will tell my nephew that you need to go ahead and Google right now, Google Mikey Sainristil, and you need to emulate everything he got, everything. I mean, from the ability, the ball skills ability, the leadership, the off the field character, the kind of guy he is, and the willingness to step up during times that a guy goes down and things like that. And we're going to discuss all that. And as I'm discussing it, I'll translate that into certain situations when it comes to how that helps you in your business and how that helps you in the work life. So before I get into that, I want to debunk this nonsense. And like I was telling you guys yesterday, one of the things that I really do have a vision for, a goal to do with this business, with the company that I run, I started and all that, is to be a part of taking the NFL and turning it into a feeder system and making it so the NFL draft is starting to become less and less relevant. And what's more relevant is creating a system for each franchise. So there's an actual feeder system for each franchise. So I will start by doing this. I'll start by showing you this. This is last year's NFL draft. Okay. Let me just pop it up real quick. Oh man, I just had it. All right. This is, hold up 1 second. Let me make sure. All right. Let's see. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me. Where's it at? Oh no. I thought I knew how to do it. Hold up, guys. Matter of fact, wait. I got you. So, share the screen. Now, Chrome tab. Oh. Okay. Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me do something real quick because you might have to just. Oh yes. All right. Bet. I think I know what I'm doing. Bear with me for a second here. Yes, this right there. Share that. All right. Good. You guys see that? Let me make sure though. I want to make sure that I know how. Share this. But they had it before. So share that. No, that's not gonna work. I'm trying to get it pulled up, and I thought I knew what I was doing, but obviously I don't. Let's see here. Let's remove that. So stop the screen. We're gonna share it. Let's also share audio. Visit tab. Wait, hold up. I think I might have it. Let me see something real quick because I might have to put it up both. Let's see. No. Anyway, let me see something real quick. Hold up. But how do you have to get like a new? Because I wanna share the screen. How do you get it on that window? So share that. And then go here. Now, if you go there, all right, give me 1 second. I'm going to give me like a couple seconds here. All right, so you go here, entire screen. If you go entire screen, right? There we go. Perfect. Yes. All right, I got it. I got it. I got it. Yep. Yes, I do. Yeah. Let's go, boy. All right. So, yes, I was trying to figure out. So, what I was trying to do is, so you see how I'm able to, okay, I got you. Yeah. So, you see how I'm able to scroll now, and we can look at it. I can look at myself while I'm scrolling. Yeah, because I was practicing it. Sorry for the delay there. So, let me get into. So here's the point. Here's the point of me making sure I had that, because again, like I said, one of the things that I envision and that I'm going to continue to work diligently towards is removing the relevancy of being a part of removing the relevancy of the NFL draft and allowing people to understand the importance of building a feeder system, why the feeder system needs to happen when we're talking about pro football. Because let's understand, let's just look at last year's draft, right? And we'll just look at the first 10 skilled players that were taken. The first 10 skilled players that were taken. Marvin Harrison Jr., all right, Arizona Cardinals. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think that they made the playoffs or had made much happen this year. Joe Alt. Well, Joe Alt's not a skilled player, I know that, but you see what happened. The Chargers, they obviously made the playoffs because they got some boys up front. We're just going to go with the skilled players. We have Malik Neighbors, New York Giants. Again, didn't translate to a lot of wins this year, right? Romain Aduze, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Again, Chicago Bears, didn't translate to a lot of wins and losses. So we're just talking about the skill players because I'm going to explain to you why Mikey Sainristil has been more valuable than the top 10 skilled players, not because these guys that I'm looking at, Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors or Romain Duze, are bad players per se, but they're players that can only do one thing, okay? One position in wide receiver, and so many things have to go right for them to have an effect on the game, folks. These are the things this is the stuff that you guys have to understand. So many things have to happen the right way for them to have an effect on the game. So here we go. Marvin Harrison, let's go again. Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, and Romain Duze, all receivers taken in, or top receivers taken within the first 10 picks. And this is the hype that you give the draft. So let's go to the second round here. If I can get there, let's see if we can go to the second round. See if it's here for a second. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. Oh, there it is right there. Round 2. Where is he at? Defensive tackle. Bang! Right here. That's the guy. Let's read it out loud. One day, Sainristil will be your favorite Nickelback's favorite Nickelback. Scouts love this guy in spite of his smaller, leaner frame, and despite switching over from receiver only a few years ago, his football instincts are extremely sound, and his intangibles are off the charts. This is a terrific pick for a franchise bent on completely remaking the football culture in Washington. And then I'm going to show you guys real quick the article that, if I can, I'll show you guys. Yes. So here's the article that I just wrote here, and I didn't just write it, but it came up published today. Here is how this translates. Hire and recruit people who can do more than one thing well. Gradually remove the training wheels. Reward and celebrate adaptability. All right. And that's all I'll show you guys for now. All right. So here's what was the point of me making sure I broke. I'm trying to see. Oh, okay. So you could add it to the stage. All right. Here's the point of me breaking down what breaking it down in the way in which I told you. And again, my apologies. I thought I knew how to do it. I thought I knew what I was doing in terms of, but I learned it on the fly, right? Here's the point of me breaking all of that down. All right. Was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. It was last year when I really, no, actually not last year, but the last 2 years, I've noticed Mikey Sainristil because again, diehard Michigan fan, and when you're talking about kids playing at that level, there's a lot of kids that are still trying to come. They don't have big names. They're still kids. That's what they are. They're still kids. I know we're fans of the team, and guys that have been around for a while. We love the team and we want to see them do well. But the kids that they bring on these programs, as they know they don't look like it, but they're still kids and they don't really understand the mystique and the atmosphere and how much football we've watched over the years. They're still young kids, right? And the neat thing, and why I've always told people that it's better or the college game, watching the college game is better than watching the NFL game, is because you have an opportunity to see guys step up. You see guys step up in times where you need to step up, and you just never know who it's actually going to be. You just absolutely never know that. All right. So it was in Columbus. Yeah, it was in Columbus when I first noticed. I'll show you guys the photo of it. You see this bottom right picture right here? All right. It was this bottom, the bottom right one right here where he's wearing 0, and that left hand of his that is striking the ball away, that left hand of his that is just getting the ball out of that tight end's hand, is what made me really notice this kid. When I say really notice this kid, it was a close game. That game was a fairly close game. I know the score didn't indicate it, but going into that game, Ohio State was ranked ahead of us. This wasn't the year of CJ Stroud. I know it was the year Marvin Harrison Jr. was there. No. I do believe, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was CJ Stroud there? I know CJ Stroud. No, CJ Stroud was there the year before. The next year, it was somebody. I can't remember who it was. But obviously, it's Ohio State, so they are obviously really good. But anyway, the game was played a whole lot closer. The game was played a whole lot closer than the score indicated. And it was that play where they were driving down. Ohio State has the tight end wide open, not open, looked like he was wide open. He had the ball caught. It looked like they were going to score. And just at the last minute, if I'm not mistaken, bear with me because I'm going to pull this video up. Now that I know how to do it. All right, let me pull this video up real quick. Hold on. Oh, I don't know if I can. Let's see here. Let me. It's coming. Let's see. No. Yes, this is it. They have it. Perfect. All right. They do have it. Let me I can't full screen it here. All right, so add to the stage. So watch this play. Look at the score. All right, it's right now. Look at the down and distance. Look at the score here. All right, it is 31-20, 7 minutes to go. Ohio State, number 2, Michigan, number 3 in the country, both undefeated. All right, you have a situation where if Ohio State puts this in the end zone, it is now 27 to 31. They're within a touchdown. To beat us. And again, down and distance is 3rd and 4. Watch. Slow it down, okay? In case y'all missed it. This was the first time. I'm just telling you straight up. This was the first time that I noticed I noticed that he was going to be him because I was watching this game like I do every Michigan Ohio State game on the and pins and deals, just nervous because of again, I don't like to watch that game when I'm around people or anything like that because I get too into it. This was the play in which I said, okay, this kid is him. This kid is going to be special. Watch it. Boom. Gets it out of there. Do you understand how huge that is? There it is again. I'll show you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was. Yeah. See, so. So it was CJ Stroud. Yeah, I couldn't remember. So it was CJ Stroud. Right. It was CJ Stroud. Yeah, it was CJ Stroud. I remember. Right. It's coming back because the year before CJ, it was CJ Stroud, and then I think came back for another year. So this is CJ. So again, this is CJ Stroud. And he's throwing to a tight end. He's throwing to a tight end that is going to put it within a one-score game. Get out of here. Go. Get out of it. Like, I mean, that is effort, folks. That is effort. Do you understand the effort in that? Boom. The ball's caught. He could have easily given up on the play. But boom. Out of there. Effort plays. Effort plays. Okay. And then now just remove it. Okay. See, now I'm learning. I'm getting it. So I know how to, queue up videos. Trust me, tomorrow I'm going to have all of this stuff straightened out. But all it was an effort play. And I forget, where was I going with that? Right. So it's effort plays. And then when you really go back and look at where he played and what he was all about, this is a guy that came into the program as a wide receiver. So I want to make sure I bring that up because if you're a business owner, right? If you're a business owner and you're looking to build an organization and you're looking to create culture, you're looking to create a situation in which you're constantly growing, you have got to let your talent flourish. All right. Initially, the questions that you have to be asking have to be about, hey, how many things can you do? Now, you are not going to be able to have that. You're not going to be able to find the right people. You're not going to be able to find or find yourself in the correct situation if you don't have a foundation or a core within you or within your organization in which you're creating or fostering that creativity or allowing people to flourish. Or if you are so pigeonholed and so, stuck in your own way of thinking that you're only looking for this position and you want that job description filled. And then if it doesn't get filled, you go move on. No, instead, you should be constantly teaching people how they can do multiple things. All right. Because when it comes to the culture change, like I just read you guys his draft, his scouting report and his draft status and all that, it was the next year. It was the next year in which we had to Ohio State again. They lost CJ Stroud, but they had Kyle McCord and they still had Marvin Harrison Jr. And let me actually bring it back up on the stage. So you see this number 2 guy right here. His name is Will Johnson, and he's projected to be the top corner taken this year's draft. Last year, he goes to defensive MVP, he caught the interception. He was like one of the main guys that Michigan had last year. Fortunately, he didn't have that great of a year because he was dealing with an injury throughout the year. So last year when they played when they played Ohio State in the Big House, that's when Marvin Harrison was, again, Marvin Harrison. This was Jeremiah Smith, again. You can say what you want about LSU and them being wide receiver U. I think Ohio State fans will have a lot to say about LSU being wide receiver U when you're talking about the kind of names, the kind of receivers that are coming out of the Ohio State University. If you're talking about wide receiver U, and again, I get y'all got, y'all are Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors. I get LSU can name drop when we're talking about wide receivers and OBJ, but Ohio State they got receivers too. And I'm not here to have that conversation. I personally am not a big fan of all the hype that wide receivers get because of what I just told you before. Wide receivers, they are they're great to have. It's great to have great playmaking wide receivers, but it's not going to translate into an actual win unless you have an offensive line that knows how to pass block, unless you have a run game that's working well enough for the pass game to open up, and unless you have a quarterback that has the ability to stay in the pocket and deliver the pass. At that point, then the wide receiver position becomes a bigger deal. So I will take all the other positions. If I was running my own team, I'm taking all the other positions, making sure those other positions are legit, and then I'll bring in the receivers. Then I'll think about the wide receivers. That's just me. So, but anyway, if you go back to last year's game, and I'll see if I can pull it up here. But if you go back to last year's game when Ohio State came to the Big House, it was his responsibility. The game started out right there. Number 2 was shadowing Marvin Harrison Jr. all over the field. Right now, he goes down, and Mikey Sainristil still steps up. In fact, let me see if I can pull this up real quick, because Charles Woodson is the one who pointed this out. I'm pretty sure it's up. Let's see something real quick, because it might. So what's Fox big noon kickoff. Might be here. Give me a second. Let me see if I'll find out where he says it. Now that I've learned how to use this thing. Let's see something here. All right, so they don't have, but I'm going to show you. So I'm going to show you. Here's what I'm going to show you. Yards. This was. Let me bring it up here real quick. So this was it. Yeah, 2000. Yeah, this was last year. Again, this is the top corner coming out this year, and then last year, obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. was the first receiver off the board. So this was the matchup between them two last year, and. Well, I'll responsibility against Marvin Harrison Jr. Michigan, Will Johnson, jumped around, cross forward, and has it at the 5-yard line. Kyle McCall, only his 5th interception of the season. McCall. To throw it, lobs it in the air, back shoulder caught at the 45. Marvin Harrison Jr. And that's a first down. Ohio State going quickly. McCord again to throw. McCord down the field and incomplete. Marvin Harrison Jr., the intended receiver. McCord steps up in the pocket. Throws it deep. McCord. It's a 40-yard line. Maserati Mar and a flag on the play. Maserati Mar. Kyle McCord, 46 yards. McCord delivers underneath. Marvin Harrison Jr. makes the first man miss. Kicks out of bounds after picking up a first down. A 14-yard run for Marvin Harrison Jr. All right, so I showed you guys that because for for some context here. But as you heard, that's Maserati Marv, right? Maserati Marv was a problem. He was a problem in college. This is the son of Marvin Harrison, who, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame, but definitely someone that was getting a son of a Hall of Fame football player in Marvin Harrison. So again, he's a player. He's obviously a player. Will Johnson's the corner that's supposed to be one of the top corners coming out this year. So during that game, it was his responsibility to shadow Maserati Marv, right? Marvin Harrison Jr. And what happened was he went down with an injury, all right? And guess who stepped up? Guess who stepped up to guard and shadow Marvin Harrison Jr.? It was Mikey Sainristil, right? And the thing is, I watched it, and then it was something that also got pointed out later on in the broadcast when Charles Woodson was like, that was the plan, was to have Will Johnson cover him, and then Will Johnson goes down and Mikey Sainristil steps up. And I'm again mentioning all of this to you so you build that type of mentality. Think about the mentality. You're talking about a player who came in as a wide receiver. He didn't come in on the defensive side of the ball. He came in as a wide receiver. He came to Michigan as a wide receiver. And then only a year and a half into the position, now you're being asked to guard what some would say is the best wide receiver to have ever come out. The best wide receiver to have ever come out of the Ohio State University in Marvin Harrison Jr. And you did it, and you did not bat an eye. You just played and did what you had to. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And one of my mentors, his name is, shout out to Drake Baldwin, he would always say that nobody out there, you, me, nobody out there that is breathing, that has been blessed enough to wake up this morning, ever rises to the occasion. See, what you would hear in the common media, what you would hear in the mainstream media is, oh, Mikey Sainristil, he rose to the occasion, and he went and he guarded the best receiver in the country. Mikey Sainristil did not rise to the occasion. He fell to his level of preparation. Okay, I want to make sure I'm clear. I want to make sure I'm on the record saying this. All right. When he decided that he was going to guard this guy, all right, when he decided that he was, look at the numbers, just look at the numbers. 5 targets, 3 catches, 182 yards allowed. And what's not said in those stats is that Will Johnson, the one who was responsible for guarding him, he did not finish that game. He didn't finish the game. He had to deal with it. He didn't finish the game. And Mikey Sainristil stepped up. All right. So it's not a matter of him stepping up and rising to the occasion. I want to make sure I'm clear when I'm saying this, because I'm going to close you guys out soon. It's not a matter of him rising to the occasion. It was a matter of him falling to his level of preparation. How prepared are you in that moment where you might need to step up, where somebody may go down on your team, where somebody may not show up to work, somebody has an accident, somebody has something going on in their family life, something happens where somebody gets sick, and you got a situation where you have to step in and do the job. How versatile are you, and how much are you preparing yourself for that moment every single day? You're not going to rise to the occasion. It's not going to happen. You're not going to just automatically, just think about it. Again, I take lessons from the game. The reason I'm able to create so much content and do so much work and speak as frequently as I speak is because I see example of it every single day. It's not that, oh, well, Mikey Sainristil, now all of a sudden he's going to be able to guard the greatest receiver in the entire country. It didn't happen like that. He was prepared beforehand. Come on, man. He was prepared beforehand. In his mind, he was prepping beforehand. He was prepping when he was a receiver already, and he was busting his ass. In fact, I think it actually came out that when he was asked to move over to the DB, the defensive side, there was no fuss. It was simply, hey, whatever it takes to help this team win and help us get back to being relevant and who Michigan football is all about, I'm willing to do it. It's not a matter of you just rising to whatever occasion that you may have. You have to build a culture and create a situation in which you're prepping people day in and day out. You have to be prepping folks, because you never know when that time is going to come. All right. The one thing that you know is going to happen is change, inevitability. Something is going to happen in which plan's going to go, your initial plan is going to go awry, or your initial plan is not going to work out the way you expected it to work out. And if you're not creating a culture in which folks are improving on a day-to-day basis, then you run into a problem. Just imagine, we'll go the opposite there. Imagine if they were in a situation where they only had one person that can guard this monster of a dude. If they were in a situation where they could only guard this one guy, then they got a huge problem. And if you're going to build a business, you're going to build what's this?
Just the aftercare copies. I made some for fourth grade already, but for later on, you guys can make copies.
Okay. Well, how do you want to say hi or anything? Or we're live. One of my colleagues over here, you know what we do. Again, I can't just be talking about this stuff. I live this stup day in and day out. Anyway, I'm glad you walked in, because I was getting ready to be I was the middle of a rant there. But the main takeaway from today, all right. And I know I spoke a lot, and I'm still learning the technology things, but I'm excited because now I know how to use it. I know how to be able to show my artists, show the videos and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really hyped. I'm really hyped right now, because as good as it was before, now it's really about to go down. Now that I really know, how to maneuver a lot of these little technology things that a lot of I'm sure my younger students and my niece and nephew are probably laughing, because I don't, I'm the old. It's crazy because I'm like the old head in their eyes, and their teenage eyes and all that. But the main thing that we have to take away and we have to grab from this is that, as a business owner, the owners that are listening to me, and the folks that are in my world and tune into my work regularly, is you have got to ask yourself right now, all right, does my day-to-day look like I'm making people better? Let me not say look like. Is my day-to-day making sure, don't make sure it looks like, forget the look like, forget that I said that, but is my day-to-day activity, am I creating things in which the people who are working in my organization, are they improving, and are there measurable improvements that I can track on a day-to-day basis? Because the one thing that you have got to know is that life it's incredibly unpredictable. You never know who's going to go down. You never know who's not going to be there and who's not going to be dependable. You can't depend on one specific person. What you can depend on is a culture, and you can depend on a system. You can depend on the system that's going to make it so everybody is being moved in the right direction, and it has to be measured. This is not something that you can just fluff off and expect for things to just work out. This is something you need to be making sure you're intentionally doing. All right. So all that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into all of my work, it's makeyourmove.com. That's makeyaamove.com. Be sure you are tapping in with me on the Patreon link. We are we're going to build a solid community as we're officially in the full swing of things when it comes to 2025. This is going to be primarily where I lay out all of the teamwork lessons and the things that you need to be doing to build your business. So with that being said, everyone out there, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon. Where we going?